All right, prediction number 1. YouTube will become a subscription-only service. No more free content. They will focus on celebrities and celebrity content exclusively. There will be no more random vloggers, no more cat videos, no more how-to videos, no more nothing. Only famous people talking about other famous people. The reason YouTube is positioning their business model in this direction is to compete with streaming services. YouTube feels that in order to compete for your eyeballs in this fragmented streaming landscape, that they need to become more like a streaming service, which means, of course, celebrities and subscriptions. Prediction number 2. Live music concerts will become illegal in the future because of concerns over copyright violations. YouTube will become the only authorized media outlet with permission to host live concerts. All music events will be performed on a soundstage without an audience. All mistakes are edited out. The professional artist then uploads a video to YouTube where it will be enjoyed by the audience through a computer screen or a virtual environment. The basis for this prediction comes from a lot of news articles I've read in the past 2 years centered around the theme of failed music festivals in the United States. Everything ranging from the ill-fated Fire Festival to the failure of the Woodstock 50 reunion to Levi's Stadium being completely dysfunctional to the Whitney Houston hologram tour to fans recording shows on smartphones, that and a whole lot more of other articles I've linked below. Prediction number 3. Every rock concert from 1970 to 1980 will be recreated by developers working for YouTube using a combination of existing video footage, deep fake-like technology, and a lot of creative license. This will be part of their subscription rollout. Prediction number 4. YouTube will run 5 mandatory non-click-through pre-roll ads at the beginning of each video. Advertisements will also run every 30 seconds thereafter throughout the duration of said video. All of this, of course, is in addition to the subscription fee you are already paying for. Here's a recent news article from The Verge. ESPN Plus has started running pre-roll ads, frustrating paying subscribers. So this is already happening, just on a different platform. I'd also like to add that Disney Plus is making such a big deal about how their low subscription rates will be. My belief, however, is that they're going to do something similar of what I just mentioned in the article that ESPN is doing, which is including advertisements on top of subscription fees. I'm also going to predict that YouTube will make videos play faster. They will speed up the playback speeds of content for the purpose of squeezing the maximum allotment of advertisements in videos. Right now, Netflix is entertaining a similar idea, but they're at least going to make it optional for the viewer. With YouTube, the sped-up videos will be mandatory. Prediction number 5. YouTube will invent an emotional reading neural interface that will make it difficult for subscribers to unsubscribe if they are dissatisfied with the service or are suffering from what is known as subscription fatigue. A first world problem? Perhaps, but the fragmentation of streaming services has led to this condition of many subscribers. Now, I know that there are companies out there, probably Alphabet as well, who are working on emotional reading tech now. In fact, here's an article, which I will link to below, but the thing is that YouTube will fine-tune it so that it works seamlessly inside of the virtual environment. So, if a subscriber wants to unsubscribe from the service, YouTube would be at least able to detect the level of seriousness and react accordingly. For example, rewarding the subscriber with special privileges just until, of course, he resubscribes again, and then it all goes away. When subscribers complain about this practice, an auto response from YouTube will remind us simply to quote-unquote, don't hate the player, hate the game. Prediction number 6. I believe that something big is going to happen to Wikipedia in the next 5 years. I believe a donation will be made to the foundation along with a request that Wikipedia go dark for 3 months or so. This will be a social experiment designed by a rich Jewish donor with the expressed purpose of teaching non-Jews to be more charitable with their money, or else the things you use and take for granted every day will go away. Keep your eye on Wikipedia for the next 5 years. Prediction number 7. all mainstream news websites are moving to a subscription model. It follows the trend of basically everything else being a subscription in a renter state. Everything from graphic design software to children's clothing to even your own personal desktop environment. It's all subscription-based, so it would make sense then that news sites would follow suit in that respect. Prediction number 8, something called Civil will take over all online news websites in the future. The basic gist behind this proposal is that citizens of a given community have an opportunity to buy a stake in media outlets using cryptocurrency, thus giving them a seat at the grand table in making editorial decisions. So, in addition to paying for news content, you will also be reading content curated by special interest groups. Prediction number 9. After all mainstream news websites are locked up behind a paywall, what will follow then will be the die out and drying up of smaller news aggregators who profited off of bigger sites for years. Honestly, this has been a thorn in the ass of mainstream corporate media for years. Drudgereport started it in the late 90s, and finally, in the eyes of corporate media, the tables have started to turn. No more free rides, they'll say. Prediction number 10. All aggregators will die out, like I said. This includes the Drudgereport. If the discovery of Twitter being an effective real-time news aggregator represented the first nail, then the mass adoption of the subscription model will signal the final nail in the coffin for his site. When his site does shut down, I am predicting that it will be blamed on politics. That's how it will be sold to the public, and Drudge will be a participant in that raid. All other media outlets, such as CBS, Fox, and the broadcasting company that hosted his radio show, helped him in his early years. Now he has to return the favor on his way out by perpetuating the partisan narrative. That's the way these things work. Prediction number 11. Space menace is what will supplant global terrorism as the new boogeyman and universal terror threat. In order to justify maintaining a perpetual police state in America, you need to have something to continually show for it. Otherwise, citizens will eventually begin questioning the presence of their security forces. Additionally, it would make sense if this something was bigger than its predecessor. Prediction number 12. Space Force will blast asteroids to help cool planet Earth. What I am basing this prediction on is an article from a PBS website. Debris from an ancient planet once cooled our planet. Would it work today? So I'm seeing that combined with the newly minted Space Force, and I'm thinking that if we sent them up there to blast some space rocks around, it would not only help fight the global warming that is so richly desired by many, but would also be a chance for Space Force to showcase a dazzling display of military might. Prediction number 13. Print media will be making a comeback. I realize that may sound crazy, but when you consider the level of censorship that is occurring to organizations who own their own websites like Gab, who have faced harassment from ISPs, domain registrars, and payment processors, moving to a low-tech way of distributing your content may not be so crazy in the long run. You could build your own printing press. You can make your own paper. You can mix your own ink. You can distribute your own content. Do you see where I'm going with this? You are a completely self-contained unit. Build a simple static website to let people outside of your community know you exist, and you are your own media outlet at that point. Prediction number 14. Newsboys will be making a comeback. Why? Because newsstands will require a permit, and permits cost money and can be revoked by those who don't want you publishing content, which is, of course, the very reason you went to print in the first place, to get away from all of that. Prediction number 15. Disney will buy Twitter eventually. I'm not basing this on any news article, but I'm just looking at both Disney and Twitter as two puzzle pieces that would fit perfectly together. Full disclosure, I don't like Disney. In fact, I've got a boycott going against them. However, if I'm being honest, I see both companies that will complement each other perfectly. Both Twitter and Disney will strike an unusual deal which allows Disney to buy the Twitter concept, but not the actual Twitter brand. In other words, Twitter will retain their logo and domain name, but Disney will purchase the actual technology that makes tweeting work. Furthermore, Twitter will also retain their users and their users' information. The bad news, everyone's timeline will be going away. Disney is basically purchasing the right to use timeline for their own Twitter rollout brand. An agreement will be reached that will allow old Twitter to have only 5 central timelines on their site, and they have to be categorized. So celebrities will be one, sports will be one, probably politics will be another, but no one will actually have their own timeline that they're able to tweet from. They all have to use a categorized timeline in the old Twitter. But everything else, the actual Twitter functionality, that all goes to Disney as part of the deal, and they're going to use it for their own universe. All Disney cares about is the technology that drives Twitter. They have absolutely no interest in the brand or its users. Why? Because Disney is the dominant brand, and they're bringing their own users from their already vast universe.